Some time ago I showed you the unboxing and unwrapping of my new gravel bike frame. In this video I'll be measuring some of the more critical parts of the bike frame. One of the most crucial parts of any frame is the bottom bracket area. This is because it's one of the most highly stressed areas of the frame, and it needs to be made accurately in order to accept the bottom bracket bearings, as the sizing of it would give a good indication of how well it was made. This is a BB386 bottom bracket, so it should be 86.5mm wide. I measured it in 4 places and it came out between 86.5mm and 86.7mm. I couldn't find any official tolerance for the bottom bracket shell width, but in my judgment 0.2mm is acceptable. The nominal diameter should be 46mm and it should measure between 45.95 and 46mm. My bottom bracket seemed to conform to these tolerances. However, just because something is of constant diameter doesn't mean to say it's round. So I tested the roundness by inserting the bottom bracket cartridge. I couldn't detect any problems. Something I can't test for is the alignment between the two sides of the frame. With the headset seating areas, I've taken a practical approach. That approach is, do the bearings seat in nicely? And it would seem they do. The lower bearing seat on the forks is a little different. It has an aluminium split collet that then seats onto the bearing. So the main criteria here is, does it seat at 90 degrees to the axis of the steerer column? As best I can tell, it does. The steerer diameter is nominally 1 1/4 inch. Here are some typical measurements that I made. If they had used a bonded-in steerer, I think they probably could have kept the tolerances tighter. But what I've got is probably good enough. The bars fitted very nicely onto the steerer with very little play. On the left-hand side of the fork, the non-threaded through-axle hole measured 12.12mm diameter. As the through-axle can have a small amount of play in it, it's important I keep that axle tightened up, otherwise fretting wear could take place, producing even more clearance. The frame set included a seat pin, so I measured its diameter. Nominally, it's 27.2mm. The actual diameter measured between 27mm and 27.2mm, with an average of just over 27.1mm, so slightly undersized. However, I also measured an aluminium alloy Ritchie seat pin that was almost constant diameter at 27.1mm. The carbon fibre seat pin on my touring bike was 27.12mm. So the diameter of the seat pin supplied with the frame set is not particularly different to any other seat pin. The measurement of the inner diameter of the seat tube was 27.3mm. So when I put the seat pin in the seat tube, as you can see here, there's a bit of slack. To be honest, there's probably a bit more clearance than I have seen in any other frame set that I've owned. However, I have purchased a special seat clamp that will help mitigate against this. I'll look at that seat clamp in another video. In this video, I've looked at the dimensions of key parts of my frame set in order to identify any potential quality issues. The bottom bracket and headset areas gave me no cause for concern. The clearance between the seat pin and the seat tube was a little larger than I would have liked to have seen, but that in itself doesn't really give me any cause for concern. I found nothing that would give me cause to doubt the quality and safety of this frame set. In the next video in this series, as best I can, I'll take a look at the quality of the carbon layup. From me, for now, it's goodbye.